Hey everyone, welcome to another episode from Pro Engineering. This is going to be kind of a unique one, and it's an episode that I'm doing because it's gotten a lot of traction, as well as I'm having difficulty doing RC stuff given my current situation of the house being under construction and all that. So this is a good filler. I hope you all enjoy this. What we are looking at here are not just some little 1/64 scale toy cars. What we have are something called sonic flashers. Now these vehicles were produced by a company called Majorette. I had a lot of, well, I should say I still have a lot of Majorette cars from when I was a kid, because I would go to Italy, that's where my family's from, and we'd go there every summer, and that's what was available in Europe, and I really loved them. They're one of my favorite die-cast cars of all time, but I don't want to go down that trajectory right now. These particular Majorette cars were sold in the United States. That's where every single one of these was sourced when I was a kid. And they aren't just some random toy car. I mean, yes, they are toys, but they do something very unique. Majorettes were always known for having fantastic suspension, and these are no different. However, when you push down on them, now you get the whole sonic flashers thing. So sonic flashers were around in the late 1980s, early 1990s. They all had, obviously, flashing units, light and sound. A number of vehicles were available. This is just a very small sampling of them. They even made a helicopter and a boat. The boat actually went in water, which was kind of cool. However, the big problem that these cars had is, well, kind of shortly after, I would say maybe 5 or 6 years later, all the batteries died, partly because I just played with them. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how I changed the batteries on these vehicles, as well as going over some of the variants on all the rest of these. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is take a look at all the rest of the vehicles that I have. Now you might be thinking that one is on its side. Well, it is on purpose. We'll get to that one last. So this one here is a Ford Transit. For those of you in the United States, the Ford Transit is now a vehicle sold by Ford, but in Europe it's been around since, I believe, the 1960s. In this case here, it is the police version of this, and you can see right here in the back, we have an ambulance version. They are effectively the same, other than the paint job. I did a little customizing here. The bottom of this one here was white, and this one was black, and I just switched them around. I thought all white looked kind of cool, and the blue with the black looked kind of cool. So we heard the audio on this one here. Let's push the ambulance. Oops. Oops. There you go. Should go a little longer. There you go. They're a little finicky given their age now, and you'll see why shortly. Okay, so these are the two Ford vans. The interesting thing about these vans is I also have this one. So this Ford Transit is a standard Matchbox toy. In the case here, it has a metal base, it has a sliding door, which is really, really neat. It will slide all the way open. Okay, crazy plush suspension. Love that. Now you might think initially that they just threw a Light&Sound kit in one of these, and bingo, we have one of these new vans, but they did not do that. In fact, they look like very similar, if not the same, castings, but they are not. First things first, we have the sliding door. This does not have that. In fact, these have no interior to speak of, whereas this one here has a full interior. Looking at the undercarriage, we can see that they are completely different units. It's not even like they've modified it. It's a completely different chassis. The black one having the bumper and headlights all molded in, whereas this one here, the bumper, front and rear bumper, and the interior are one piece, and then the headlights are actually part of the casting for the windshield. Even on top, we can see the slats on the roof of this one here is inconsistent from the police van. While they look like the same casting, they are completely unique, and we'll see another example of that shortly. They did this little fire engine, which was really kind of cool. You had your ladder, extendable little telescopic ladder on top as well. I believe it actually did rotate. It does rotate. Okay, lights here on top. So we'll, again, same thing. I don't know if you're getting this through the camera, but this sucker is very loud. We'll skip over to the military ambulance, and these came in a lot of colors. So that's the same as the fire engine over there. Majorettes were always known for their detail, like having the back end open and all that. These, for the most part, definitely feel cheap. Like, honestly, if they didn't have the Light and Sound portion of this, I would almost venture to guess that this one here would be like one of those cheapy little cars you'd find in a discount bin. This one's actually really neat too. A lot of these here we've seen so far, you push the suspension and they make a siren sound and the lights flash. This one's different. This one you push on the front, it's actually doing a horn sound, which is very neat. Some of these would do like screeching sounds like brakes or acceleration sounds. You'd have taillights come on or headlights come on. I've even seen a couple of cars where you lean to the left and the left signal will come on, lean to the right and the right signal are gonna come on. Pretty rare. These seem to be a lot more generic and run-of-the-mill. Has a little twin booms at the back. They actually do move around pretty reasonably well. Okay, so back to the Porsche now. This is actually really cool. First off, this is kind of like a pace car. And if you push the button, in Southern California, we would call that La Cucaracha. Okay, we've gone through those. We'll do him last. Okay, so for this police car, same kind of deal. Push the front. Once again, it looks like we have two of these Chevy Caprices. Upon initial inspection, they look like the exact same casting, but you can tell that the actual greenhouse on this one here is significantly shorter, where the lights are on the top, completely different. You know, a lot of the casting areas, like the wheel arches, I mean, they're near identical. Flipping it over, and once again, you can see they're completely different. This base is all metal. This base is all plastic. Again, this feels heavy. It's got opening doors. It's got an interior. It feels like a proper toy car. This one feels, like I said, it just feels cheap. Once again, we cannot see any interior versus the interior on this one. All right, our last dear friend here. The reason why he is on his side is because this thing has always been really finicky. I'll squeeze the front end. It has nearly no suspension travel, and I don't understand why. There's nothing wrong with it. This toy just never has had any suspension. And looking at it internally, that's how it is. The front axles presses directly up to this blue base here. On top of that, this bottom panel is metal. This one doesn't have any notes on here calling it a sonic flasher. All the rest of these, see that, sonic flashers. This one doesn't either, come to think of it. This one here, metal base. So I'm thinking where they could fit electronics on a standard car, they did. In fact, even up here, it looks like this has just been a big rectangular cutout and they shoved the flasher in there. This unit is also, the electronics are different on this model as well. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm saying, is that you barely touch the wheel on this one here and it goes off. I do have the standard version of this, and like this one, it has no suspension. The back doors do open. Now, the car will roll, but it takes almost nothing to set it off. The problem is, if you just have it sitting there, I've had it go off in the middle of the night, and that's always a little annoying. These lenses are actually kind of translucent, so you actually can see inside of this one here. I'll talk about the electronics in a moment, but before we get there, I wanted to show this one. Until just before this video, I thought this was a sonic flasher. It's just always been mixed in. But when I don't know why it's taking me, I've had all these since I was a kid. It didn't occur to me until just now that this is not a Majorette. This is Matchbox. There's a lot of similarities in all these cars. Look at how the LEDs are spaced out in every single one of these, okay? Even this one here. You can see that in the case of the Transit, this is also a Transit, they're further apart. Looking at the undercarriage, we'll reference this with another vehicle in a moment. Obviously, it says Matchbox. It says Ford Supervan. but that's it. It doesn't have any delineation between this and a one of these sonic flashers like many of them do say. Now, as we've seen, these two don't say that. I did a little homework. These are called Matchbox Lasertronics. Had no idea. Okay, so just like the other ones, this is also ear piercing. I do happen to have the regular version of the Superfan. Flipping it over, this base is metal, but other than that, I mean, they're pretty much, I think, no. Main difference, this is made in China, made in Macau. However, you can tell this is a patch. The textures are also different, but that could be due to paint. I don't know. Either they are the same tool, which I kind of doubt. This one's been textured, so I don't know. But these two are obviously related. They have a lot of the same features. In fact, all the same features. This one also doesn't appear to have any interior. So yeah, there we go. The Matchbox Lasertronics. Had no idea. Now let's talk a little bit about the electronics. There's a lot of problems with this particular interior panel. You can see that there's a lot of corrosion happening here. When I was taking the batteries out, which are LR1130 coin cells stacked, the actual side of it snapped off, so I had to solder it. This is the worst one. The traces had completely corroded, so I had to bridge them all to get this thing to work. These are the coin cells stacked. There is tape around the perimeter to make sure that you are getting the full voltage. I am rather curious about the inside of the Supervan. So you know, every single one of these vehicles, I had to drill out their rivets down here and then drill and tap them in order to get the enclosures back together. This one here, I can't recall if I had done that or if this had come with a Phillips screw. I don't know. Okay, so we can see here at the front how this works. You push the front suspension. Okay. And now we'll grab this and pull this out. Completely different unit. The battery, I forgot. It looks like the coin cells. I see how this works. You have these pegs right here. 1, 2, 3, no. These are just alignment. These, you'll pry these up and the coin cell batteries are back in there. I believe they're all the exact same coin cells. Okay, so this is the Lasertronic unit. As for the sonic flashers, these are M2s. Yeah. Again, I drilled all these out for sure. Okay, there's that. There's a washer in there too. I'm not going to show you how to do that because these can be destroyed. Not just the sonic flashers, but all these standard kind of Matchbox scale cars can be damaged if you don't do this correctly. How do you come out? You're hooked on in the rear. Lift this up. There we go. Okay, so this is the standard sonic flashers unit here. Not as pretty as the Lasertronic one. There's supposed to be a little door right here that basically secures the batteries. In prying it up, some of them break off. You can see here that you have both coin cells. I've put this little piece of Lexan stock around there. If you don't do that, the full voltage might actually jump. So what's happening is this metal is touching off on the main housing of the battery. And at the bottom in the center is the other point of contact for the battery. It's possible for the voltage to travel from the outside of this lower cell to this housing here, the metal housing, and thereby only providing half of the voltage. These being stacked, they are working in series. I think these are 3 volts each, so you're getting 6 volts in total. All right, and to make these work, right here, there's a little contact right underneath this. Boy, it's even louder without the body. There you go. This one here will require the glass. Drop it up like that. I found these to be rather finicky. Some of them worse than others. I think this one wasn't too bad. Let's just double check. Okay, good. Last thing you want to do is put it all back together and not have it work. Okay, there we go. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's completely unique to the channel, but I thought it'd be something that everybody here would enjoy. Do you think I can turn them all on at once? I can't. I can hold him down. Let's turn all the rest on. Okay, ready, set, and go. Come on, do it, do it. No, no. Oh my God, stop. Ah. Stupid thing. So the answer is no. Thank you all so much for watching.